Good afternoon. Hello, my name is Lucy Aquino, and I'm the CEO of hispanocare, a program of Advocate Illinois Masonic Hospital and affiliated with Gottlieb Memorial Hospital in Melrose Park. You are watching a live interactive call-in show on CAN TV Cable 21. During the next 25 minutes, we're going to be speaking about Friedman Place. We invite you to call in with any questions that you may have. The number's at the bottom of your screen at area code 312-738-1060. Joining me today is Hetty Lichtenstein. I knew I was going to do that to you. Community Outreach Director of Friedman Place. Welcome and thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you for having me. Mucho gusto.
Oh, un placer. Friedman Place. There's just so much to discuss about it, what it is, the services that are provided. It's so unique that I was so pleasantly surprised that you actually existed. It was a very big surprise when you called me to talk a little bit about Friedman Place and what it is and the services that are available to community and community residents. So starting with that, there's so much I want to ask, but why don't we start with what is Friedman Place and what's Friedman Place's mission?
Friedman Place provides housing for adults who are blind and visually impaired. Our mission is to provide the housing and wraparound services that support people so their lives can be dignified, healthy, and stimulating.
But in saying that, obviously this had to start back somewhere. Someone had to think of the idea and said, my community or these communities need a place to go to for those individuals who are vision impaired. So what's the history behind that?
It's very interesting. We are sponsored, Friedman Place is sponsored by the Association for the Jewish Blind. And that was formed in the 40s by a group of blind men in response to the fact that landlords would not rent apartments to blind people. They were afraid. They formed the association. They had a small house on the west side and then raised money to build a building on Foster, west of where we are now. It was a dormitory-style building with a men's wing and a women's wing. It was called Kagan Home for the Blind. Okay. We knew that we needed something that was a little bit more modern. We'd been there for over 50 years, and we're very grateful to a gentleman named Herb Friedman. He bequested money for us to purchase an existing building that was built as an assisted living building. It was only 3 years old, and we have been there for 3 years. We moved in with 29 residents, and now we're up to 78.
78, that's huge in 3 years. And how many residents does Friedman Place actually can house?
Well, basically, we have 7 one-bedroom apartments, and we have 64 studios. So we can house, we have a hospitality apartment. We basically are at capacity, but we are starting a waiting list, and there is occasionally turnover. So the residents, and we don't double up. Everybody's got a private apartment. The one bedrooms are available for couples and for relatives, brothers, sisters.
Wonderful.
So the studio apartments are very, very nice size, and I always tell people that a studio apartment in a facility like this serves a very different purpose than in a regular apartment. Meals are served in a dining room. There are activities in common areas within the building, and one of the commonalities we see in people coming in is that they come in and they've been isolated to some degree because of their visual impairment. Here we really try to provide a sense of community, so there are areas where people can entertain friends and relatives, where they can sit and just be with other people. And then they have private spaces as well.
So, Hetty, what's a typical resident profile at Friedman Place?
Well, it's interesting. There really isn't a typical profile. Our residents range in age from 22 to our oldest resident now is 99.
Wow.
We have people from all backgrounds, all faiths, all races, all educational backgrounds and abilities. Some need almost no help at all, really just whatever the support they can get in a facility of this kind. They don't want to have to make their own meals. They may need some help with, for example, if they're diabetic, they may need some help with monitoring their diabetes. They may need help with dietary issues those are very hard things to take care of
Sure,
on their own,
sure.
even with mail and bill paying.
Well,
So
it's hard even if you're not vision impaired.
absolutely,
It's still
absolutely.
something
I
very
think
difficult
about
to
that all
monitor.
the time.
Absolutely.
That even
Absolutely.
accessing resources is so
Absolutely.
hard for all of us. So it's really the gamut from people who go out to work, who go to school, who go to workshops, to people who stay around. We have a senior group, we have a middle-aged group, we have a younger group, and because it is so heterogeneous, it feels more like a family. People support each other, and we have more and more residents that are doing things for
it
others.
really sounds like it. Well, I do want to remind our viewers, for those of you who are just joining us, my name is Lucy Aquino, and I'm the CEO of hispanocare, a program of Advocate Illinois Masonic Hospital and affiliated with Gottlieb Memorial Hospital in Melrose Park. And today we have Hetty Lichtenstein, Community Outreach Director of Friedman Place. I also want to remind our viewers that if you have any questions, whether it's regarding hispanocare or upcoming community events and or Friedman Place, which is the topic today, please call us. The number's in the bottom of your screen, area code 312-738-1060. So, who is eligible to live at Friedman Place? Or how are they eligible?
Anybody who is visually impaired or blind and over 22 years of age is eligible. We are part of the Illinois Supportive Living Program, and that means that regardless of people's economic situations, they would be eligible to come live with us. People need to be getting Social Security or disability, and they would be eligible, and their costs would be covered.
Now, when we say eligible, do we also mean like legally blind eligible, someone who has actually been declared legally blind?
You know, we have never actually stated that that's a prerequisite. People who apply to live with us are low vision. We don't have a specific guideline, but if anybody is interested in applying and wanted to see the community and see what kinds of visual impairments we have there, that would be a good idea.
Well, Hetty, before I forget, I do want to talk a little bit about, before we go further on this, let me go over and talk a little about the first annual Friedman Place Vision Health Fair. And that's going to take place, I know that, let's bring this back up, and I want to share this with everyone because this program is obviously free of charge. It's the first Vision Resource Fair that's being sponsored and co-sponsored by hispanocare, Advocate Illinois Masonic, but most importantly, this is something you're putting together at Friedman Place as your first annual Vision Fair.
Right.
Can you talk a little bit about the activities that are actually being listed and what's going to be happening that day?
The Vision Fair is this Friday the 13th from 9 to 12 in the morning. We have a number of vendors from not-for-profit agencies that serve the visually impaired in the city and in the suburbs. We have, we're very pleased that we're working with hispanocare. We're partnering with them, and they will be providing diabetic neuropathy screening, and I think Lucy will tell you some more about that in a few minutes.
We're really excited about that.
Yes. And we have 3 speakers from the community who work with visually impaired people discussing various aspects of vision loss, some psychological aspects, adjustments, what a low vision exam consists of, and what is available for people with low vision to enhance whatever vision is left, and also independence within the visually impaired community. And these are all issues that people struggle with when they go through vision loss. So I invite everybody to come and visit and see our building and come and get some information. I think the more you know what's available out there, the easier the adjustment is.
All right. Now, we know that event is on this Friday, actually June 13th at Friedman Place at 5527 North Maplewood in Chicago. The event is completely free of charge, and as Hetty mentioned, there will be several talking topics that will be taking place: adjusting to vision loss, tools of low vision rehab, vision loss and independence, lots of wonderful topics taking place starting at 9:30. Can you tell us a bit more about what's happening throughout the day?
Well, the fair is from 9 to 12. So we're going to have the breaks between our speakers will be times to visit the different vendors. They will have handouts of information from their organizations, and sometimes there are some freebies to give away, and we'll have some refreshments. We will have some tours of our building for anybody who might be interested in seeing the building. We're very proud of it. It's we've been there 3 years, and things are really up and running now. And then we're going to hopefully we'll be on schedule, and we're going to break at about 12 or 12:30, and I hope you can make it. I look forward to seeing you guys out there.
Again, viewers, if you have any questions for either Hetty or I, please give us a call, area code 312-738-1060. And again, if you need to get a hold of Hetty, you can reach her at 773-989-9800. Again, that number is 773-989-9800 at Friedman Place.